Hey, what's going on, guys? Here with a deck profile of Galaxy Games, and today I'll be showing you guys my OTS deck that I took to the Top Deck OTS, which is of course the Crystal Gem Knights. We did unfortunately bubble out. I ended up X2 and I believe 10th place when the top cut was top 8, but overall had a really fun day. The matches I lost all went to game 3, and they were all just like near unwinnable matchups, being what was it, Paleozoic with Inspector Border and Invoked Mech Knight. The guy I lost to was actually Justin Mendig, a fellow guy from Galaxy Games, who got his invite today, gained 2nd place. So congrats to him, and also congrats to Jack Paul for winning the whole event as well. Also another fellow member of Galaxy Games. And 2 guys, hopefully we can get some deck profiles on here soon. But for now, we're here with the Crystal Gems. And I profiled this a few times, so I won't really go over too much. Just a few tweaks here and there from the previous builds. So monster lineup. Free Gem Armadillo. Was playing around with 2, but decided to bump this up to 3. Just had the extra space, and it just boosts consistency. It is a gem card that helps you get to your link plays, helps you get another Gem Knight monster in your hand. So overall, it can be a really good normal summon when you don't have the rabbit. Free Obsidian and free Lazuli for getting back your normal monsters, really standard. For the normal monsters, we have the free Lapis and the free Tourmaline, pretty standard. I have seen some lists playing like, less Lapis or less Tourmaline, but I feel like you need to maximize out on both of them, especially if you play Pod Desires. You just want to make sure you get as many Gem Knight resources in your hand as possible to do the OTK, or to just like push for advantage and damage. So yeah, I think 3 and 3 is the right number.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are those all the vanillas that you run?
Yeah.
So now why the Tourmaline over Garnet?
So I play Tourmaline over Garnet because Tourmaline's fusions are better than Garnet's fusions. Yes, Garnet is 300 more attack, and yes, it can beat over things like Candina, but Tourmaline has better fusions in Prismara, which can pop face-up cards, and Topaz, which on its own can attack twice and then burns the opponent for the monsters it destroys by battle, their attack points. Topaz itself was only 18, so that's not really that relevant, but what you can do sometimes, it's actually helped me win a couple games, just over the last few weeks of testing, is like you'll summon a Lady Lapis Lazuli, use her effect, send the Topaz for her effect to grave, and then later in the turn you'll make a Master Diamond and use Master Diamond's effect to banish a Topaz, the copy, and then Master Diamond itself starts out at 29. With its effect to gain attack points, it usually gets up to anywhere from like 32 to 35 or 3600, and then with that attack points you can attack twice. So that really helps you just steal gains with OTKs out of nowhere. So that is the reason why I played a Tourmaline. Its fusions are just better than Garnet's, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I think Garnet's fusions are like Ruby and Citrine, and they're just not as good, in my opinion. We do play the 1 Crystal Rose. Was messing around with 2, but really only need 1. It's definitely not the worst thing in the world to dead draw. In fact, it actually works in some hands when you dead draw it, but you don't need more than 1. So that's why I play 1, and space can be kind of tight in this deck. So 1 works out really nicely. If you banish it off of Desires, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Is it the Starfoily one or the common one?
It is a Starfoily one.
Yay, shiny things.
Yep. Next, MVP, Free Block Dragon. It's what makes this deck able to actually OTK and FTK most of the time. I think there's only been 1 or 2 instances in testing where I've actually been able to do the FTK without Block Dragon, but most of the time you need it. It just gets you too much advantage, too many resources, and it is actually a tough monster for some decks to get over, like Trick Stars. So if you're in a grind game, you can actually just summon this and kind of stall out a bit. It's pretty good. It's a really good card.
Card that hasn't seen much since Zoo.
Yeah. Free Rescue Rabbit to summon out your vanillas. It's a 1-card Phantom Quartz, and like you need Phantom Quartz to like actually start your plays and get you going and snowballing towards your OTKs and FTKs. So you kind of need as many cards that can help get you there as possible, and Rescue Rabbit's the best card for that.
So you basically need him to do anything.
Yeah. And then we did have room for a few hand traps in the main. Shout out to Chris Thorne. He let me borrow the 2nd Ash Blossom, and then I also played 2 Ghost Ogre. I was also messing around with Gammas, but I don't currently own them. We'll definitely get my hands on them once the Super Edition reprint comes out. But, Ash and Ogre is what I had for today. Played, the event was filled with like a lot of Mech Knight Invoked and, some True Draco and just, well, not necessarily True Draco, but a lot of stuff that Ogre wasn't really good against. So maybe this wasn't the best idea, but Ash was pretty good throughout the day. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. I believe it's 26.
It's a lot.
For spells, standard free Gem Knight Fusion, free Brilliant Fusion. It's still insane how for most combos you actually don't need Brilliant Fusion to pull off the FTK. It certainly helps if you don't have the Block Dragon, but you actually just don't need it most of the time. It's kind of crazy.
It's also insane how Brilliant Fusion isn't hit.
Yeah. Maybe someday. For your unexpected die, again, you need to make it as easy as possible to get out your Link monster. So unexpected die just gets you a free monster on board to help get you there. So you want to max out at 3 on these. If you dead draw multiples, it's okay. I mean, this just basically becomes a Gem Knight monster. So that's
Unexpected die, aka unexpected die.
2 Pot Desires, you play so many free ofs in this deck, so, I mean, the only thing that you care about banishing is Crystal Rose, and even if you banish multiples of some things, as long as you have, like, 1 copy of, like, your core Gem Knight cards, you don't really care, so...
How was that for you today?
Really good, really good. It's always been a good card in this deck. It was something I was debating on when I first put the FTK deck back together, but, yeah, it's really good.
Did you ever hit anything off it today that you wish you hadn't?
No, not at all.
Great.
And it can make some good ash bait sometimes. For 1-ofs, 1 Foolish Burial to send whatever you need to grave, 1 Monster Reborn, and the 1 Soul Charge. These get side out a lot going into game 2 and 3, but they are really good combo extenders or potentially combo recovery cards that you can use after a monster gets, say, Ogred or Ashed or something like that. Gammed. Yeah, it can just help get you there sometimes. It helped me get there a couple times today, so definitely wouldn't cut these from the main, but they are easy side outs going into game 2 and 3 when you just need to make more room for your side deck cards. So that is the 40 card main deck. Extra, we have the 2 Phantom Courts. You actually do make 2 a lot. Either when, well, for the most part, it comes up when your first Phantom Courts gets disrupted with like an Ogre or an Ash or anything really.
No.
Yeah, you can easily make your second one, or if you get in a bit of a grind game, you can make the second one and potentially loop back your first one. So yeah, you definitely need 2. And then for other links, the 1 Mrs. Radiant and the 1 Deco Talker. Deco Talker comes up sometimes, again, when you're in the grind game and you just need something else to make. So the Deco Talker is pretty good for that. And then Radiant, it actually helps with the battle damage OTKs for the fact that it boosts up all your guys, since all your guys are Earth. So that's actually really relevant.
Why 1 Radiant and not 2?
I mean, you could just play the second Radiant over Deco Talker, but, you know, there are some niche situations where Deco Talker is better, you know, for potentially negating stuff and being big on its own. So that's why I personally do it, but you could definitely play the second Mr. Radiant if you want to as well.
I figured it's just good because it gets big.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had the space, you could play 2 Radiant and a Deco, to be
I
honest.
unfortunately don't. The extra deck's pretty tight. For the Gem Knight Fusions, 2 Lapis Lazuli and 2 Master Diamond. Talked about this in the last video. You actually only need 2 of each. Yeah, for the FTK combo, you don't need 3, and it just makes it to where you have a little bit more space to actually put in other things that you want to do. So yeah, just 2 and 2 for the FTK.
AKA meanies.
Yeah. The 1 Lady Brilliant Diamond, what you almost always summon off the Phantom Quartz, so that you can tribute it to summon the Master Diamond, and then this becomes food in graveyard to summon Crystal Rose. So that's actually really good. 2 Zirconia, was playing 1 on Thursday, but there were situations that came up where I needed the second one. And there was actually a game against Jack where I actually could have FTK'd past a hand trap and won the game if I had the second one. So I'm no longer ever going to go back to 1. It's definitely 2, because it's just the easiest one to make, and it's a big beater in a pinch if you need it. For other Gem Knights, 1 Prismara. As I said, you can make it with Tourmaline, and he just pops face-up cards by discarding a Gem Knight card, so that's really good with your Gem Knight Fusion. And you can potentially leverage into this with Rescue Rabbit. You know, Rescue Rabbit for 2 Tourmalines. You'll make your Phantom Quartz, use Phantom Quartz, shuffle Tourmalines back in the deck to make this. If you need a quick out to a Floodgate like Anti-Spell Fragrance. Hasn't really come up, but, you know, it's good in theory. 1 Seraph Knight. Don't make it that often. It's kind of crazy to say that because
Doesn't make the best Gem Knight monster in
every other
history
deck
in
plays.
Gem Knights.
Yeah. I mean, it comes up sometimes when you have like Armadillo and Rescue Rabbit in hand, but for the most part, like it ends up being used as like a bridge card in your combo, like something to get your Crystal Rose engraved, and then like get this off the board to make like your second Master Diamond. But you definitely need to play it. It's still good. The 1 Topaz, talked about it before. This can just really help get you those, you know, OTKs in the mid game, or just steal games when you copy it with Master Diamond. It's just really good. And then speaking of Master Diamond, the final extra deck card is the one True King of all Calamities. It definitely comes up when you fall just short of the FTK and you have 2 Master Diamonds on board. Just making this most times is going to win you the game unless they have the Gamma, because it's too strong.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shoot. Never mind. Never mind.
Okay, we good?
Bad thing. Yeah.
All right. So that's the extra. For the side, again, props to Chris Soren. He let me borrow the 2 other Droll and Lockbirds. These were pretty good throughout the day. It's just a solid hand trap in general. For those of you that are wondering, like, what happened to my Secret Ashes and Super Drolls, I did unfortunately have to sell them a few weeks ago, just for a little bit of extra money and to make the most that I could before the reprints. Definitely will be getting my hands on the reprints as soon as I can. But for now, we pulled the 1 from the Kaiba set, and then we're hoping to get two more here soon, so that we can actually play like Trickstars again. Kaijus, Gameciyo, Commungus, Jizukiru, and then the 1 Slumber. Really good going second. The Pre-Cosmic Cyclones, just a good generic board. Back row hate for going second.
Hashtag back row sucks.
Yeah. One thing that kind of sucked, as I said, I ended up going against the Paleozoic with Inspector Border today, and that made me kind of wish that instead of the Droll unlocks, I played like K-Trunade or the Denko Sekka, but honestly, the way that matchup played out, I was not going to win that game anyway, so the Droll was probably better because it just covers a lot more matchups. Then, again, going second, Dark Hole Regeki.
Thank you again for letting me borrow.
You're welcome. And finally, the free D barrier for going first against actually most decks right now. Invoked, Pendulum Magician, ABCs, just like anything that isn't Trickstar for the most part. This card's really good against. Yep. So that's it for this updated deck profile on my Gen 9 FTK. Big thank you to Mr. Jake from State Farm behind the camera for recording. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Remember, guys, we are the Crystal Gems.